Pardon me, I'm running a cold and I just had to get this video out today morning. Hey guys, welcome back to Objective Reviews. My name is Nick and you've already read the title. Why am I moving away from the 1080 Ti which is on liquid to a air-cooled RX 580? Let's talk about that. If you're up and up on the whole Hackintosh situation, you probably already know what's going to happen. But if you aren't, well, Nvidia still has not released drivers for their 10 series and 9 series cards, and the 20 series cards now for macOS Mojave. Now, what this has left is a lot of users out in the dark, mostly with the drivers, and we are still stuck on High Sierra. So considering that, and because some of the apps I am using, which I need to actively use, are dropping High Sierra support very soon, I had to move on to Mojave. Now, considering everything that has been happening with Nvidia over the past few weeks, a bad RTX launch, drivers being pulled out for Windows, etc., I am not very positive about macOS drivers coming anytime soon. So I had to get on the RX 580 train, especially when I found one for 20,000 rupees in a lightning deal on Amazon. So considering that, I ordered it next morning. It was here with me. It's the Sapphire Pulse RX 580, 8GB of GDDR5 memory, and overall a pretty good package for 20,000 rupees. So I was absolutely determined to get all of this done within this week itself, at least get it running safely and properly on macOS High Sierra. So on the weekend, I can play that Pokemon. Let's Go with my Charizard. So a very quick overview of this particular RX 580, and it has two fans. That's the standard for this card because it runs very hot even on idle right now. Well, it's rendering two monitors, but even that, it'll run somewhere around 54-55 degrees Celsius. Runs very hot, draws a lot of power, but that's completely okay once you get this in your system. And in my case, I will need to use this with Final Cut Pro and a few other things, and it does really well in those. Now, on my particular motherboard, I had to put it in a particular slot because when I tried a X16 PCI slot, well, my motherboard told me that it'll run at 1x speed unless you change it to a different slot. And I was still wondering, if this boots up, and it did on the very first run, as you can see here. And the link width at this point is just 1x. And this is obviously very slow, but I still wanted to see if I am getting any benefits by installing a RX 580. So I ran the Bruce 5X test. I ran it with my 1080 Ti, and you can see the score here. And then I ran it on the RX 580 with just the 1x slot speed, and it's already faster. Well, time to reseat the card into its proper slot number 4 on my motherboard. And once I did that, the card got recognized in the BIOS, and then off we were to booting macOS. Once macOS was booted up, I again ran Bruce X test, and the scores definitely improved. So we started at 56 seconds on my water-cooled 1080 Ti, and now we are down to 28 seconds on an air-cooled RX 580. This is half the time taken for the same test at the same resolution, exporting it to the same codec. That's pretty nuts. And the price difference between the two, the 1080 Ti, I bought it for 72,000 last year, and the RX 580, as I said, I bought it for 20,000 rupees, 21,000 to be very precise, 21,000 rupees. So the difference between these two is of 50,000 rupees, and that is huge. And I'm getting almost double the performance for the tasks I need to run on this particular card. So considering that, this is a huge gain. Same situation in DaVinci Resolve. The 1080 Ti does up to 24-25 frames per second 4K rendering. The same project, the RX 580, did up to 50 on an average, and sometimes it went up to 60-70 depending on how complex or simple the frames were it was trying to render. So if you want me to do absolutely comprehensive tests, if that is something that interests you, let me know down in the comments and I'll make a separate video on that. But for now, that's about it. I am facing a single issue with this card, and that is whenever I try to export any H.264 encoded file, the moment the H.264 encoder kicks in, macOS will just freeze up and it will crash. That's because when an RX 580 is installed, macOS expects there to be a integrated graphics processing unit, the iGPU on the Intel chip. Now, since this is an X99 workstation board, the CPU does not have any integrated graphics, which is why the whole thing comes to a standstill. Now, I've been told that this works better on macOS Mojave, so I'm going to be doing that upgrade over the weekend, and I'll let you know down in the comments if that was fixed with the update. Nonetheless, the purpose of making this particular video today and releasing it today in such a hurry was because Black Friday is starting. You'll have Black Friday sales all the way through Cyber Monday. So if you are running an NVIDIA card and you were looking for an opportunity, a reason to jump on the AMD bandwagon, well, now is your chance, because you'll be getting some very good deals on these cards, and the Bitcoin miners and cryptocurrency miners are giving back. So you can find some of these cards for a very cheap price. People are getting these for €100. So that is pretty kick-ass. The RX 580 at €100 is pretty kick-ass. If you can get a Vega 56 for around 250-300, nothing like it. Even if you get the Vega 64 for that price, that is brilliant. So good luck with your weekend haul. So that's about it from me on this particular video. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you disliked it, you know what to do. Leave me a comment down below if letting me know what you disliked about the video, or click that other button. That does fine too. And if you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.